Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to a new week. We're doing a soft start to our 2019 analysis. As you know, that I like to take these first couple weeks off of the new year to allow the markets to work out its holiday inconsistencies, if you want to call it that. The market has a lot of noise right now, and I'll cover that briefly. I don't want to give you too much jaw boning because I want to kind of make our 2019 videos more concise and direct to the point, save ourselves both my own and your personal time as much as I possibly can. So this is our economic calendar ahead. You can see Monday as a void of any kind of real impactful news, and tomorrow we have Draghi speaking at 10 a.m. So we're going to be euro sensitive there, all markets really. The Parliament Brexit vote is the real standout for this week, I think. There's going to be a lot of volatility tomorrow. I would expect to say it that way. And on Wednesday we have Carney speaking during the London session, and CPI numbers coming out, PPI, RPI. And day one of G20 meetings. Thursday, we have medium impact credit condition survey, Philly Fed coming out in the New York Open, dollar-based, and FOMC member Quarles speaks at 10:45, and a continuation of the G20 meetings. Friday, 4:30 a.m. London session. GBP has injection of volatility at retail sales, so we could probably see some flurry of action on Friday before the close of the week. Then 9 o'clock in the morning, New York time, we have another FOMC member, Williams speaks, and preliminary consumer sentiment for the dollar index at 10 a.m. Apart from the Brexit, really, nothing else is really noteworthy here. I believe that we'll either see a renewed sense of volatility in the marketplace relative to the Brexit vote, or a complete and utter disregard for it based on where we're at with it. The present conditions will most likely continue going into the 1st of February. So, going into a little bit of a personal reflection on what I see going on in the marketplace. If you look at the overall, I guess, sentiment of the marketplace, is no one really knows what's going on, and a lot of the professionals are along the same lines as that. There's so many things going on that it's hard to build an idea for 2019 yet. Now, I'm not saying that this whole year is going to be a wash and don't expect us to find consistency or continuity. No, I'm not stating that. I'm just saying that usually this is when I like to look at the markets and consider what they're showing, not immediately going and finding trades. But the second week behind us in January usually gives me the invitation, if you will, to go into the marketplace and start looking for some measure of symmetry. And that's really what I want to talk about. If we look at what's going on with the pairs and what the dollar index is doing as a whole. And I'm not showing a chart right now, so I want you to just listen to my voice. There's a disconnection and a decoupling that happens. And I'm going to give you a lesson on Wednesday this week for all membership levels. But it'll go in a little bit more detail from a technical standpoint. But for right now, I want you to just take a step back and say, if you were looking at the charts right now, could you feel confident that you have institutional sponsorship behind the move that you're trying to capitalize on or study? In my personal opinion, it would be, for myself, it would be no. Number one, we're too early in the year. The U.S. has a government shutdown. Now, granted, it's a partial shutdown, but the ramifications of that from money being put to work is significant. So not only do we have the beginning of the year slow start, that's typical, We also have the markets remaining decoupled because of, well, we have Brexit, we have the government shutdown in the U.S., we have the normal holiday rut that we're coming out of, and it's the beginning of the year when generally sentiment sets the tone for the next 6 to 12 months. So whatever what everyone's expecting at the beginning of the year generally is usually wrong, and you can fade that. Now, not all the time, but generally that's the MO I like to look for. So if we wait, okay, and I understand that some of you are completely new to my work and my concepts, but you join this mentorship to have insights given to you by way of experience. And I'm sharing that experience with you in the way that I believe would be best used as a developing student. It's not my interest or goal or aim to try to stimulate you to do more trading. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to look for quality setups. We're looking for quality framework in the marketplace and specific market profiles. That means that if we're looking for things to move in a specific direction to a specific level with a measurable and reasonable expectation of how it should do it, we cannot, and I'm going to state this emphatically here, we cannot do that consistently in this environment. Okay, and what I mean by that is we have to allow the market to digest what's going on. There's a lot of money on the sidelines right now. Once it gets put into motion, it causes displacement. That is what we wait for. It's not a matter of, well, we're sitting around here twiddling our thumbs, not knowing what we're going to do. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for a very clear, discernible displacement in the marketplace. We may, in fact, get it tomorrow with the Brexit, okay? Or we may get some kind of miracle agreement by Trump and the Democrats, and as opposed to staying with the government shutdown. So there's a lot of things that are in play, even though it sounds like it's just two. There's a lot of things because of the ramifications of those two things. There's a laundry list of things behind it. So they're the two number one drivers right now. And again, with the calendar being what it is, we're at the beginning of the year. So it's important that we don't rush. Okay, the folks that have been with me for many years now, they know, they trust what I mean as it relates to the beginning of the year. As soon as we get into February, it starts to find its legs. We build up our understanding of what the market may want to do going into spring. Then spring months are real easy to trade. Then we go into the summer months where we dial back our interest and we look for more choice setups and less frequency. And then we get into the fall months where, again, we go back in and we're bang on with our analysis. Going into the holiday again, it's the same rhythm, it's the same routine every single year. If you're new to this, you just really want to just trust what I'm saying for right now. Okay, if you go back and you look at the logs of our video library in the mentorship, you'll hear these same things being said during the January month. It's the same thing over and over. It's monotonous. But it's for your edification. I want you to trust the fact that while there may be an occasional move during this time of year, it's something that you do not want to risk money on because it can hurt you. It can move a whole lot and many times against what you thought was going to happen. And that's not what you're here for. You're here to, number one, protect yourself. You don't want to go into the marketplace ignorant. So it's important that we have that in the forefront of our mind, knowing that we're learning skill sets that build the consistent analyst inside you. Analysts don't gamble. They don't bet on iffy scenarios. They don't like 50-50 shots. We want things that are more loaded in our favor, which will present a greater likelihood of consistency. And that means waiting for specific market conditions or profiles. Right now, dollar index is doing whatever it wants to do. The British pound's going wherever it wants to go. Dollar CAD's going wherever it wants to go. Dollar yen wants to go where it wants to go. Euro dollar doesn't know where it wants to go. So it's a lack of, symmetry, really. That's the word I'm looking for. Without symmetry, that means everything moving as you would reasonably expect it to, dollar up or dollar down, and then everything else in an opposing fashion. We're not seeing that. And if you look at the 15-minute and 1 hour chart, just today will give you a classic depiction of what I'm referring to. When it's like this is a decoupled market. And it's largely attributed to the fact that we're just now coming out of the holidays, and we may need that shot of injection in form of volatility based on maybe whatever Joggy says tomorrow, or the Parliament voting on the Brexit vote. The coupling of both of those may be a two-punch knockout that the market needs to get itself back in the fight, finding some measure of displacement, because what we need an imbalance. And right now, the market and the pairs that we look at are just not clear. They're not. I don't have an opinion that is, in my opinion, high probability. So if it's not high probability, I'm certainly not going to co-sign it with you all, and I'm not going to concern myself with it until it does. And by doing so, for the new student here, it's going to seem like, well, what am I paying for? You're paying for what I just gave you, insight. Plus you have content that you have to be studying anyway. When the market transitions from a decoupling state, which is where we're at now, to a more symmetrical market, we'll have clues and things in the chart, and I'll tell you what I'm looking for on Wednesday that are specific. And we'll give you specific scenarios that will hopefully outline what the next conditions would be and where we would get our, the invitation to now go in and start looking for engagements for framework and setups. So just have this in the forefront of your mind that, again, just because it's the second week behind us, in January and beginning the third week of January, it's not that we're in a rush to do anything. And if you're feeling rushed, just, again, use these types of videos, which are dry. They're not very exciting, but this is where you prevent yourself from falling victim like the retail does. The retail class will be scrambling, really, to get in here and do something. And if you just go look on social media, you'll see it. They're all trying to prove that they're smart every day of the week, and that's not what we're trying to do here. We want to promote the skill sets that develop you as a trader and increase and enhance your analytical side, because that's the person inside of you that's going to prevent you from hurting yourself. The trader is the person that's going to get all the credit when you're right. The gambler is going to be the one that derails you. And he or she always wants to be in the marketplace. Always. So you have to keep that part of you in control. And don't let it in the driver's seat, because it will steer you off course and hurt you. Looking for that good feeling moment, okay? That, I'm doing something and I'm getting a response. The market's showing me, that I'm lucky, and we don't want to do that. We want to be looking for things that promote the continuous direction of our development to consistency and proficiency, in concert with particular market conditions that we do not at present have. So we wait. This is the same thing you're going to go through every single year, especially if you're going to try and trade like I do. You can't wing it. You can't guess. You can't just roll the dice and see what happens. And if you get a positive return, attribute that to skill, because it's not. That in my estimations, it would be the classic definition of luck. So just know that when we go into this week, there is a great deal of uncertainty. No one knows what the Brexit vote is going to deliver in terms of volatility, and it may not even create any volatility on top of it too. So it's not a matter of if they do vote or they don't vote in a specific manner. Regardless of what the vote's outcome is in terms of the result, chances are it can go against whatever you think that means in terms of the marketplace. And that's basically largely, linked to the fact that we have no real technicals that would line up with a high probability scenario or a specific market profile that would promote high probability, low risk setups. So since there's an absence of that right now, we wait. When I first started, I hurt myself because I wanted to trade every day. I was in such a hurry to get out of my job. I literally felt that if I traded and I made, $200, I'd be that much sooner to leaving my job. In that pursuit, many times I was losing $400. So I'm trying to make $200, but in my rush to try to do that, because I'm impatient, I'm just trying to do something all the time, and traders have to be in the market every single day. That's what I thought. I ended up losing a lot more than I was trying to gain. And I didn't like it, but I didn't feel enough pain from that to stop me from doing more trading. So as part of a mentorship, the idea is that you want to learn from someone that's done that, okay, and knows what it feels like. So that way it's an intimate understanding. Like I have that understanding. I know what it's like to lose and be in a pursuit of trying to get out of the rat race and not being able to do it because of impatience. So just know that this week we have to be patient. We're looking for the market to come into a better alignment with one another. All the intermarket relationships need to start coupling back up, and because we don't have that right now. So if we get a large displacement in the marketplace, that means a big one-sided directional move. It can happen with the initial manipulation tomorrow, and then a large move in one direction. Then we'll have a displacement, we'll have an imbalance, and then we have something we can work with. Right now, not so much. We just want to wait and let them step into the children's pool, if you will. Like I did in my free tutorials, I outlined that. We want to see the elephant that has entered the market. And we'll know because there'll be a huge displacement in price. Until I talk to you again on Wednesday, just know that this is just a reminder to you all not to get excited. Don't be in a rush. There's going to be so many opportunities going into 2019. Do not blow it for yourself. Okay? In other words, don't burn yourself out. Don't try to trade with real money while you're learning this. We need to be focused on the rules, the concepts, and the content in the manner that it's taught, not just willy-nilly and just see what happens. I'll just put an optimal trade entry here and I'll put a breaker here and expect to see something happen. There has to be some framework behind those things. Otherwise, they're not going to work. Until I talk to you Wednesday, I wish you good luck and good trading.